Wabarakatuh. My name is Rizky pratomo. I will to show my presentation about testing listening and testing grammar in language testing. Number one is testing listening. Testing phoneme discrimination. Sounds are sometimes difficult to discriminate in a language other than one's native language, especially if the sounds are not distinguished in the native language. There are several ways to test phoneme discrimination, that is, ability to tell the difference between different sounds. One way to test phoneme discrimination is to have the testes look at a picture and listen to 4 words and decide which word is the object in the pictures. The word chosen as alternative should be close to the correct word. However, it is often difficult to find common enough words with similar sounds, and if unfamiliar words are used, they will not make good alternative. Alternatively, the testees could be present with 4 pictures and be asked to choose the pictures that match the word that they hear. Another possibility is to give testees 3 words and ask them to indicate which two are the same. Finally, testees can listen to a spoken sentence and be asked to identify which one of 4 similar words were used in the sentence. Discriminating stress and intonation. The ability to recognize stress can be staged by having testees listen to a sentence that they also have in front of them. Testees are instructed to indicate the word that carries the main stress of the sentence, while recognizing stress pattern is useful in English. The problem with this type of test is that it lacks context. Testees need to show that they can recognize the difference between John is going today and John is going today, but they do not need to show that they understand that there is a difference in the meaning of 2 sentences of what the difference is. Number 2, understanding sentence and dialogue. A teacher can also test the students' understanding of individual sentence and dialogues. In the simplest form, this type of item consists of a single sentence with testees listen to and form written statements from which they choose the one closest in meaning to the original spoken sentence. Example: spoken: I had hoped to visit you while I was in New York. Written: A. I was in New York but did not visit you. B. I will be in New York and hope to visit you. C. I visit you in New York and hope to again. D. I am in New York and would like to visit you. Another example. An example of this type of item is as follows. Spoken is would you mind if I visit you next time I come to New York? Written: A. Yes, of course. I'd love to visit New York. B. No, I don't really think that much of New York. C. Yes, I would. You can come anytime. D. Not all. I'd really love to have you. Test using virtual materials. Number 1, matching true or false types. The advantage of using visual materials in this way is that they can be used to test listening alone without involving other skills very much. If the tester considers that an advantage, though it is impossible to entirely eliminate the use of other skills. However, they do not reflect the sort of listening done in the real world. Number two, map test. Another way to use visual material is testing listening is to use maps. One activity involves having testees listen to direction for how to get somewhere and follow along on the map. They respond by drawing their route or indicating where they would be at the end of the direction. Another possibility is to have testees listen to a conversation referring to various locations in the map and having the testees in the identify the locations. Number three, testees can also do drawing tasks according to instructions. For example, they can be given a simple line drawing and be asked to complete it according to certain instructions. Next is summary. There are a number of ways to test listening, but particularly when tested listening proficiency gets more advanced. Testing listening becomes more complicated. It becomes more difficult to separate listening from other skills, and combining skills can put great demands on the testee. The next, testing grammar. The testing of grammar is one of the mainstays of language testing. While such tests the ability the error recounts the procedure's correct grammars and usage, they do not test the ability to use the language to express meaning. However, it can be argued that basic knowledge of grammars underlies the ability to use language to express meaning, and so grammar tests do have an important part to play in language programs. Type of test. Number one, multiple choice test. The most common type of multiple choice grammatical item is one in which the test maker gives the testee a sentence with a blank and 4 or 5 choice of the word of phrase which completes the sentence correctly. For example, because my mother was sick, I blame to go home last week. A had, B have, C has, D had not. To give slightly more context, this type of question sometimes make use of a short dialogue, with one person saying something and the other responding, and the other person responding. Number two, error correction. Error correction items are also useful for testing grammar. An error correction item is one in which the testee, if given a sentence with an error, for words or phrases in sentence marked with letter, and the testee needs to decide which of the words of phrases has the error. For example, A. Most of students. B. Believe that they. C. Should be getting better grades. D. Than they are. Number 3. Transformation items. Another type of grammar items makes use of transformations. In this type of item, testees are given a sentence and the first few words of another sentence to change the original sentence without changing the meaning. For example, number 1, Jim hasn't been home in a long time. It's been a long time. Number two, I don't need to go to the grocery store this week. It is Number three, it is difficult to study when it is so noisy. Studying. Number four, word changing item. Another type of item is one is which the testees are given a sentence and a word which they need to fit into the sentence by changing the form of the word. For example, number one, I have never been to Australia. The answer is B. Number two, I will be with you. The answer is the moment. This type of grammar tests items test students' knowledge of different word forms, and how they are used in sentence. Number five, sentence combining exercise. Sentence combining exercise can play a part in testing grammar as well as its more traditional use as part of composition testing and training. For example, testees might be intro, in, instruct, instructed to combine the following sentence using a relative pronoun. I met a man. The man went to the same high school I did. I met a man who went to the same high school I did. Summary: while the testing of grammatical knowledge is limited, it does not necessarily indicate whether the testee can use the grammatical knowledge in a communicative situation. It is sometimes necessary and useful when considering the testing of grammar. The teacher has to make decisions about such factors as ease of making, the degree of control, and the degree of realism. Thank you for watching. For me, my name is Putra Pratomo. I'm sorry for my presentation. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.